Alright, so once you have downloaded GIMP, you're going to want to practice using it. So chances are your GIMP is going to show up here or possibly down here. I don't know why mine's not there, but I just enter it down in my little search bar and it comes right up. Or you could look in your programs files, I'm sure it's there. Okay, so mine was beeping down here at the bottom, and I'm just going to go ahead and click here to make it the size of my screen. And hopefully your GIMP looks like this. If you have your different docks, these are called docks in different locations, then you can just go to Windows and make sure that single window mode is checked. If you can't find your tools, it's in Windows under Toolbox, just click there. And then these are the tool options for every single one of these tools. There's different options. Those would be under dockable dialogues, and you'd click on tool options. And then you also have layers over here, and those will be important if you need to find your layers. They're right there. And then there's other docks in here that you could also use. So today I'm going to have you just open up that image that I had saved there for you as a file, so you can save that to your digital photo folder, and then you can open. And I like I said, to save my things to pictures, so I go into my pictures folder, and there's my digital photo folder, and I have 2017-18 block 3. And here is the photo to practice GIMP. You have to download that. Okay, and then it will open up here. You can zoom in and zoom out. Right now at the bottom it says it's at 100%. If you're down here, you can change that. I could change that to 50% if I wanted to. And you can also go up to View, Zoom, and you can zoom in a little bit at a time, or you can go zoom, fit image in window to make sure that you are seeing the entire image. And remember, I was talking about layers. Here it is. It's showing up in a layer over here to the right. You can duplicate layers like that. And then if you want to save your original, you just lock them. So if I decide that I want to go ahead and work in a duplicate layer, and I can hide the original layer, then make sure that you have that layer selected. And today I'm just going to teach you how to crop. I just want to make sure that your GIMP is working on your computer. So the crop, and I'm going to save right away. File, save as, photo to practice GIMP. And I'm saving it as a .xcf file. .xcf is an editable GIMP file extension. So when you submit a file with the extension .xcf and I save it on my end, I can open it up in my GIMP program and I can see all of your layers and all of your work. And the other reason why I'm saving so quickly is because you are going to be using up a lot of RAM. That's like your computer's working memory. So you're going to want to save often. I save when I'm making a video after every little thing I do, because making a video and using GIMP at the same time just maximizes my computer's working memory. So I wasn't even able to use my crop tool a second ago. So I'll click on my crop tool now, and now it's working since I saved. And I noticed in this photograph, I have a lot of stuff on my left and a lot of stuff on my right that's really not contributing to the overall message and intensity of this photo. So I am going to crop it, and then you'll notice that once you click and drag, you can use these corners and adjust them how you want them. So I just kind of like to squint my eyes and feel like, all right, what is giving me the best feeling that this guy, you know, is alone in this long alley looking up at these tall buildings. I think that's awesome right there. So once you've got it, you just click inside, click, and it edits, it crops. So if you need to ever undo something, just use Control Z. So if I do Control Z, you'll notice that it'll undo my crop. That is found under the Edit menu. I can also redo by hitting the shortcut Control Y. So, or I can just click there. So I really did like it. The other thing I want to show you is, these are just fundamental things that I want you to do with all of your photographs, is to crop them. Get anything that's distracting out of there so that you really do focus on your subject matter. And then I also want you to go to brightness and contrast. Brightness and contrast. Contrast is so important. Look at how when I intensify the contrast and I bring the brightness down a little bit, did you see that pop? But of course, I don't want to lose too much detail. He's got some detail in his jacket, so I'm raising up my brightness a little bit too, and my contrast. And I can take a look at what I've done now. I might have lost some of my detail up here at the top. I'm going to check by looking at my preview. Did I lose any detail? I think I did lose a little bit of detail. So I'm bringing my brightness back down, because I do want to be able to see the structures of the building, the structure of the buildings up at the top too. And I'm thinking I'm gonna like that. Let's see. This is the well, let me get before. Okay, so this is the before, and then that's the after. So it's just popping a little bit more. So adjust your brightness and contrast on all of your pictures and crop. Perfect. So I'm done with that. I'm gonna hit File, Save. Okay. So this is the program that you can Photoshop, manipulate your photos in. Okay. And then when you're done, you've got to export them as an image, because this is a GIMP file. This is not an image. So you're going to say Export As, and notice that it attaches a ping extension. You're just going to click at the end of that and backspace 3 times. 1, 2, 3. So you still have the dot, and then type in JPG for JPEG. You want to save it as a JPEG. JPEG is just a smaller file size, and it's what we use for photographs. So you also could find that down here at the bottom. Let me just make this window a little bit smaller. You could have found that extension where it says select file type by extension on the left. Could have clicked that little plus, and you'll notice that there are all of these different extensions here. And if you go in order, you'll notice that JPEG is found alphabetically. And there are a few different extensions that you can use for JPEG. If you're not sure, you can always just come down here and click on JPEG, and it will automatically change the file extension for you. And then you're going to click Export. But when you do that, I want you to move this over to the side, because it's also going to prompt you to optimize your file size. So I hope you're paying attention. I know this is a lot in one moment, but if you are starting out with a really large photograph, you want to make sure that the file size is small enough that when you go to email it to somebody, or if you want to post it on a website, it's going to open quickly. So we're going to click Export, and it says, do you want to replace that JPEG? And I'm going to cancel that. I'm going to give it a different name. I'm going to call it Practice, Photo to Practice, but how I'm going to name it is I'm going to put my first and last name, Rachel Girot. There we go. I want you guys to get into the habit of naming your files with your first and last name. Does that sound good? Could you do that for me? Could you always remember, just put your first and last name right at the beginning. Not at the end, at the beginning for me. Okay? Put them at the beginning. All right, so move this over again, because I want to be able to see my picture. I'm going to click Export. There it is. That's the box I was looking for. Okay? So it says that my quality is set at 90% right now. But I want to look at what my file size is, and I can do that by clicking Show Preview. And it says my file is only 76 kilobytes. In this class, I want your files to be around 500 kilobytes. So we're going to increase that to 100%, and look at that. It doesn't even get up to 200 kilobytes. It's a really small image. So that's why I want to pump it up to 100% quality, so I have as much pixelation, as much quality as much of those pixels filled in as possible to give me all of the details on that page as I can. So we'll go ahead and export it. And then when I go into my File Explorer and I go under Pictures into my digital photography block 3, where are we? 2017-18 block 3. Here I am, Rachel Girot, Photo to Practice GIMP, and that's the picture, and this is the GIMP file. So if I wanted to go back and re-edit my GIMP file, I would just open this file. And if you are doing this exercise right now, you'll see a Dropbox, and I'm going to have you submit both the photo practice GIMP file and your JPEG. You can see it's a JPEG when you hover your cursor over it. It says the item type is a JPEG file. So you're going to submit both of these files to the Dropbox for me, just to show me that you got into GIMP and that it's working. Awesome. Thank you so much.